Well, what's going on, everyone? I will wait a little bit till people show up, but I figured I'd do this live show today because somebody was so gracious, and I don't know if they want me to say their name. I don't even know who it is on here, which is funny because I know their name, but they had basically paid my rent for the month. So voila, here I am. What perfect timing. Had some money issues and some things because I just moved and whatever, so right on time. Crazy. What's going on, Journey of Enlightenment? Figure I'll just do a little question and answer, whatever, if anything's on y'all minds. And I don't know. Wonderful day, perfect day, Loomis. What's up, Shiro? I've never seen you before. Yeah, I was just saying, somebody just gave me a piss ton of money. So apparently some of the things I've been going on and on about in all of my videos have helped someone. So that's cool. Makes a brother feel good, you know. So what's going on in all of your necks of the woods? What do you want to get into here? I have a few shows lined up that I'm gonna do. What up, Torn? I got a few shows lined up that I'm gonna do that I've kind of, I have a couple ideas, and then I take a nap and I meditate on them, and then I usually wake up with 2 hours worth of something to say. But here I just got on because I was somebody just gave me a shit ton of money, so so they paid for all of you to listen to me rant and rave on whatever you want to know. Take those things off so we can see each other. Just getting to know this new town here, and so I was out a little late last night, shaking off everything with some frozen mocha. Yeah, what's going on, y'all? So what's the good word? What do people want to know about today? What kind of questions are on your mind? Because like I said, I didn't really have anything lined up. I was just like so humbled, and had a lot of gratitude for what somebody gifted me. So I figured I'd offer you all some of my time. I mean, it's free anyways. Even if they didn't, I would have got on here in the next couple of days anyways. But it was quite perfect timing. And interestingly enough, the other day I talked about on one of my posts, I had said the 2s, the 22s and the 222 and the 2222, the master numbers. I was like, man, it just showed up in my like for 2 days straight. And then today the transaction was actually 44 22 22, which was crazy. So numbers, weird how those things work, huh? How they don't exist but they kind of do. They're kind of just the thing that I was talking about, the echoes of ideas, of angels or angles of light, or ideas that we have in our head, and what the 2 represents. Does Loomis, what's up? Since you had 222s have been out the box, dude. And I see, like, the other day, I walk in the parking lot and it was 666 on the license plate. I mean, the license plates hit me all the time, everywhere. Loomis, what does vibration have to do with gravity? I mean, gravity is a really tricky, sticky, weird conversation because it doesn't really exist. I mean, it does on other realms to a degree, but here we don't deal with gravity. We deal with density and echoes and vibrations, and there's not really, like you say, there's a gravity to a situation. What you really are saying is there's a density to a situation. It's not even a density so much as a magnetic effect. People confuse gravity with magnetism oftentimes. I think density and gravity, density, buoyancy, and electrical systems and magnetic systems all fold together, and then there's this illusory thing that nobody can really explain, but they want to talk to you about the big G. And it seems to be, the G is the seventh letter. It's the 7, 7 colors, the 7 keys, all of that stuff. 7 colors, the rainbow, all that. I don't know. It doesn't seem to have much relevancy where we are. You don't see gravity work. Where do you see gravity? Where do people always? It's always theoretical physics. It's always theoretical. Well, in theory, this is how gravity works. Even if you go to the people that have studied what they consider gravity, they say gravity works differently in different places. And what they're really saying is density and buoyancy seem to work different in different places. And by different, it just means they're not seeing that they're inside of a dense realm. Like where I am now has different density principles than where I was a week ago, versus different parts of the city, different parts of the country, different parts of the world have different. Go into the ocean. If you go farther down, it's denser. The water is denser. If you go over there, it might who's measuring these things? So the vibration, it produces a sense of a gravity, but I think it's just a trick word to get oh, it's gravity. What does that mean? Oh, it's God. Oh, it's the whatever. It's a easy. Oh, it's gravity. That's what it is. Yeah, Torn, you've been thinking self-judgment necessary. I think the only use of self-judgment is self-reflection or self. To identify with the ideas that you've been, the idea of what you are, and the idea of what you're becoming. That's the only way you can use. It's not judgment, it's just that's where people get stuck. That's where depression comes from. That's where anxiety comes from. That's the judgment of self, just like the judgment of anything else. As I've kind of made clear in a lot of my videos, preference isn't judgment. Having a preference towards a cold beverage on a hot day is having preference towards the color red because you're feeling blue. That's not judgment. That's just preference in the moments. So you set up your preferences. If you work with the computer, you set up your preferences. You work with your mind. You set up what are your preferences for your future. There's nothing good or bad or in the world. But once you judge something, what it does is this. See, I seem to be a verb. It means it's always in motion. It means I can't have judgment of anything because it's going to move. That mountain will move. That tree won't be there. It will get cut down. It will grow. It will do something. But because I understand everything to be verb, in motion, how can I judge anything to be as what I think it is? Because it's going to alter. It's going to change. Everything does. So when you observe time differently, then what is there to judge? Then it only becomes preferences. Some people get confused whenever you say, "Oh, I don't like that." Oh, you're judging that. No. That's not how this works. You get to not like what you don't like. I mean, some days, you know what? I don't want to eat pineapples. Some days I don't want to eat strawberries. I don't like those on those days. Just so happens that's my preference. So I'm not judging the pineapple to be bad. So in the same way, we can look at actions that we see that out there or in our own life, or ideas that we have, and if we judge them, what we do is we get stuck to them, because then we go, that is that, rather than that is a stepping stone, or that is a motion, that's part of the whole process of finding, oh, well, that didn't work, that's not what I liked. Figure this out. Oh, I like something more like this. Until we refine it, until we get to the until you can't burn off any more of the things that this is what I like and this is what I'll have. And then that's essentially what the philosopher's stone is. That's what the gold is. That's taking lead and turning it into gold. So you can't burn any more off. You go, okay, here's all my preferences and I've made it. Okay, now I've got what I need. And then once you have the gold, you can mold it, because gold is moldable. And all of a sudden you have the thing. This is my preference now. This is what I want. And you go, okay. In about a week, maybe I don't want this to be like this anymore. So I take that gold and I just mold it differently. You become a potter, and the potter is listen to Neville Goddard's work. You look into like Harry Potter, like being the magician is. That's what the potter means, to mold the clay. There's no clay that's unusable. You just reform it. And when you have gold, it's easy to reform. And it also has a lot of other qualities to it as well. So that's just the concept of it. And being confident in what you become, just it's less. And Torin, just one more thing. It's less being confident in what you've become, and confident in what you can be. Because what you are now is, again, it's going that way, or it's gone. The beginning of this video is over. What I said a minute ago is gone. That breath I took is out. The whole thing. It's always becoming anew. So there is really no, change that little word in your mind of judgment, and remove that and get rid of confident in what you've become. That's if you become confident in what you become stagnant. When you become a porcelain god, you become an idol. You worship the self. And that's not what you don't want. What you want to, you chase the experience. You not necessarily chase it, but you work with it. You move with the experience. There's no stagnation in that. 47. 47 is 11 is 2. That's interesting. Maybe a Loomis. The gravity thing again. It's a really tough one to get into. What's going on, Corey? What up, Shirley Cortesi? Yeah, tree cutting. We'll get to tree cutting. Well, I think that's a really long show. Maybe I'll do another time about how, why, and what the trees were cut for, and what the giants did. If there were giants in the land, as a lot of people believe. We'll do that another time. Have I done any videos on Ormus? Yeah, I really gotta go through, and if you guys want to help me, I always kind of put this out there. Whenever you listen to one of my talks, feel free to write out some keywords and put commas in there, so I can just cut and paste and put it in my tag section. Because when I make these videos, I just make these videos and they're up on the internet. That's all there is. I don't do anything extra. Like, I might find a picture and put it as the title thing, but I don't really, like, some of them have tags, but I don't really go too deep in doing that, just because it's just not my style. But apparently some people are, getting hip to the work that I'm putting out, and so if you guys can do that, that would help my channel. And obviously you can take my videos and upload it on your shit. I don't care. Just, obviously feed people back to my channel and let them know where you got the info from. But putting the tags beneath would help you guys. Yeah, Goddard is the 48 Laws of Power. Robert Greene. Yeah. Remember the thing about those. I've touched on this countless times. Is you have to don't use those in situations as a way of manipulating. You understand those things so that you can look at and observe people using these laws. And again, they're not even really laws. The 48 Laws of Power, I'd call them the 48 suggestions of force. 48 suggestions of force. Because power versus force, check that out. Power versus force. Force loses every time. Power is infinite. Power is. So what he says, if there's 48 laws, and there's also the inverted, there's 96 laws, and that can't be. Those would all be forces. And you'd have to put pressure to use those things. So the idea of understanding those, or understanding to be more correct, not to really understand them, but to understand them, is so you can observe them and know when other people are playing with them. So then you just go, nah, I see what you're doing here, and that's not going to work. That's what they're used for. I would never suggest. It's like the greater magicians. They always say, well, here's the magic, and here's why you shouldn't use it, and here's why I don't use a lot of it. I've said this often because there's equal portions in the other direction. It's the ladder goes up and down. There's the white and the dark to it. So it's just a suggestion to use these things sparingly, because the world will succumb to your will anyways, because that's how it works. So it's not, you don't really need to go out and take these laws and use them here, because it doesn't, you could just sit in meditation. Like the prime example is I woke up this morning, I was having like, you know, I was like, man, I just blew a bunch of dough on moving, and I'm like, basically got no cash, and I didn't want to stress about it, so I just put it in my mind and seeded that. I didn't ask for anything, but all of a sudden somebody sends me a shit ton of money. Had no clue, no idea, and it was perfect timing. Why? Because I didn't apply any force. I didn't use any of the 96 laws. I used the one law. I used the one only law. I am. This is what I'll have, and don't have any qualms. Don't have any worries, and just go. I expect it. Of course it will. Why wouldn't it? It's your experience, right? So that's the idea of observing these, what you call the suggestions of force. Again, just to observe them and just look at them and how people use them and to manipulate things. And then those things are quickly going nowhere. They won't last. They're just stories. And Goddard's amazing, yeah. Soren, yeah, I hear you. Brainwaves is different realms. That's funny. I don't know if you were listening to my last couple videos, but that's what I was talking about. Yeah, surely. And so you can just change your realm and this bubble that's around me. Like my auric field it becomes bigger by using different brainwaves. The meditation can slow down things and push my auric field farther outside of my body, therefore affecting a further area and time. You know, that plate of making a harmonic sound of Om, and then you see the thing form and make what you'd see as a Star of David or something. That same thing is happening with these brain waves and these frequencies from here in your heart. The next video I'm going to do is going to be on Aether, Earth, and Heart. It's all the same word, and those are the three realms. And those are the three things I've always talked about. And it's just a new way of explaining it, that in one key word, which is Aether, you get Earth, and you get Heart, and you get Hearth, which is the four elements. But again, there's only three elements, because fire or Hearth is always. That's what you are. It's transmutative. Then you have the three forces, the three elements. That would be the Earth, and then the Ether is what's around you. See? So you have and then you have what you are as the fire keeper. You know, the Hearth. So I'm going to do that another time. I'm not going to go into it right now. What you talking about? You download, listen, then forget what to say afterwards? What you talking about, Shirley? I'm not understand what you're saying there. That too. What's up, Max Hotchkiss? You're welcome, of course. There are quite a few of them. There's quite a number of hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of information. Torin, I would if you want to get farther into gravity, the idea of it, I would say the closest thing to it would be look into The Universal One by Walter Russell. Looking at Walter Russell's work, I don't remember what he claims gravity to be, but it's like he says, light doesn't move. There's no speed of light. Okay, people need to. Light is a reproduction. It's a bubble that reproduces itself. So light doesn't move. There's no speed of anything. It's a bubble that produces itself again and again, just like time. So when you start from there, then gravity has a whole different flavor to it. Amanda, well, thank you. Like, I've been sun charging, and I had a decent night last night. Made some new friends. I'll stay here for a while, Torrin. I think so, yeah. The beach is gonna be. I'll be traveling a little bit, but the beach, it's excellent. The waves, I needed that. Jumping in the ocean is just magical thing. If you understand, getting in some other older talks on what salt water really is, you're not ingesting it. It's not going into your skin. It's a charging station basically. It charges you with energy. And grounding yourself and having my shoes off all day and getting the sun, it's just been awesome. Journey, I think, therefore I am. No, get rid of the first part. Just I am. I am. You start with I am. You don't think, therefore you are. What is the thing that is thinking? Rephrase that. I think, therefore I am. No, I am, therefore I think. Because you, what is the you or the I that is thinking, right? The I am is the thinking. The thoughts that go through you aren't even yours. So, again, thinking is a. What's Alan Watts say? The trouble with thoughts is most people, that's all they do is. What is the absence of thought, and how can you stop thought? Thought you're playing with time. That's what I was saying the other day about if you get out of most people need to get a piece of paper out and they write. All of a sudden you're writing or you're typing or doing something, you're working on a computer. You've stopped time for all intents and purposes. You've stopped time, and then whenever you're like, oh, you're done working, like, whoa, and then all of a sudden the result of that is that, the next day, and all of a sudden everything on the paper just happened the next day. So you stop time for that moment and you go, oh, where was I? The step back from that is not using the paper. It's using the mind. The paper is wonderful, and I've given many, many lessons on how to use that and make sigils and things like this. But you are the living, moving sigil, and your mind is your mind is part of the overmind, which you take this all here is all me, but then I collapse it into this form, and I take the information and decode it inside of here. So what information am I taking in? Where's the information coming from? Only the way I decode it. So I am decoding it as I encode it. I encoded it to decode it. It's like you package yourself a gift up, you package yourself a present, and you give it to yourself. Oh, I forgot I gave myself that present. But the goal, the trick is to, oh, I can edit all of this right now. And I wanted to do a whole talk on your boy Devin, or Flat Earth Paradise, or Hermes, or whatever, how he calls himself. But he's a wonderful magician. Just getting a little deeper on what that is, the thing he's doing now. And I think it's a great idea for a lot of people to do. But remember that you're using a system. If anybody hasn't seen it, you should go check out the videos. Neil Glimmer put all these codes together. They're awesome. But again, you're using that coding, which is fine, because you can get to wherever you need to go by using somebody else's codes. But you can also write your own codes. They're using a very close, as close as you can get to just doing it with your mind, by showing you in front of you, this is what's going on. We're going to Ethernet this, and I'm going to code this out using both words and alphanumeric systems, and I'm going to code it in to mean this, and deliver that into the ether, and then bring it. It's a great idea. The only thing to qualify, to understand about that is that that's his coding. I mean, it's not his, he doesn't own it, but he delivered it, right? So it's like if I tell you how to bake a cake, that's my cake that I designed. You know what I mean? You're still going to get a cake and it's still going to be delicious, but you say, all homage to the producer of the cake, the one that gave me the instructions. But if I tell you, well, here's how you make a cake, now go ahead and design it out yourself, that's the master magician. That's what you do. I'll tell you everything that's in a cake. It's all out there. You want to know? Okay, I won't tell you how much. I won't tell you the ingredient. I'll tell you the ingredients, but I won't tell you how much. Then you start baking a cake. Before that, you're just taking notes and you're standing in a line to get something. It's perfectly fine. We've all done this. I mean, look, somebody made me this. I can't take credit for this, right? I could go home and make it myself. So just have that idea. Although it is wonderful and powerful magic that they're doing, and I suggest it to anyone. I mean, it's no different than anything that I've put out there. It's just using a different method. It's using a different type of sigil work. They're using the sigils are meant to impress upon the subconscious mind, so then it delivers itself out of your conscious mind to your subconscious mind, and then into the ether. and so you can't screw up the coding. Once you make a sigil, you can't screw it up because you don't even know what it says anymore. What they've done is they've turned the original alphabet of English and coded it with the numbers, because numbers don't mean shit to you. Like, what does 178 mean? You don't know. It could mean something good, it could mean something bad, it could mean something in between. But if you say, okay, 178 as we code it out means something good, okay, now we know what we're talking about. But you're still only coding the number. And so it has the same purpose as a sigil. Like, I could take all of the things that they've done and turn it into a sigil. It would have the same effect. And so could you. And so that would be, I would suggest anybody, if you were going to do it, look through what they've done and make a sigil out of it. Or go and just go ahead and make your own gematria codings to your own, because you're downloading it to your own system. So if, again, all of these are steps to get to the point of using just mind, because that is the source of everything. The mind is all. Metaphysician, boom, done. But these steps are just step backs into denser physical reality, and they're really close to, like, you know, they're keyed in on using high-level magic. So highly suggest it. Go check it out. Neo Glimmer and your boy, what's his name? Devin Maggi, that dude. Yeah, match. That happened the other day. I made a sigil to make it rain in New Orleans, and it rained. I took a video of it too. It was just really hot day, and I was like, oh, it's too hot out here, and I started drawing a sigil, and all of a sudden it was like raining out. So I was like, oops. Interesting. Unstance, integrated ascended master. I like that. I mean, you can, if that's the way you want. See, there's the toying with the language of if that's what you say it is, then that's what it is. I could say it means icky ants and mice. You know what I mean? Like, but code it the way you want. But the I am becomes that's the blanket statement to begin whatever you're doing in life. So I'm just rephrasing and reframing Neville Goddard's teachings, which he was reframing and rephrasing the teachings of ascended masters before him, if that's what you want to call them. What's up, Freak 154? Of course. Yeah, Shirley, the sun is an interesting thing. Put up Mayan Jin. Orange. Torin, orange. And orange, interestingly enough, codes out to 33. Go figure. Eli Jen. Yeah, extra letters are fine. It says the same thing. What up, Robert Souza? Sipping on Nectar, a book recommendation on gematria. I think an easier way to get into gematria, if you're interested in that, and I've always put it this way, gematria is a second. Gematria should be used as a way of verifying something. It shouldn't be used as the thing. And what I mean by that is the coding of gematria, letters hinging to numbers, is secondary to the actuality. It's secondary. So it's like if you look at somebody, all these people on the internet that do all the gematria coding, they're always saying, "Oh, do you see it says in the newspaper it means something bad." Like you're saying it and you're using it to mean something bad, because I can use those same numbers and I can find something good in there. So see, it's a variable. So you need to start at prime source before you start. Gematria just is just let's check. What does this mean? Does it mean this or this? Okay, it means one of those two things, or one of those 10 things. But I would get into who's probably got the best channel for gematria out there. Marty Leeds. I have a couple Marty Leeds books. Check out, they're pretty cheap too. Pi and the alphabet and pi. I think you can get it on Amazon for under $10. Marty Leeds is good. Yeah, but before that, I always got into language to begin with because we don't speak in numbers. Even though people say the numbers are the universe. No, they're not. The universe is relationships. The universe is only a triangle, meaning there's a relationship of the golden triangle, the golden mean. It's from this to this is this to that, and that is to the whole. That's all there is. That's the variation of everything. There's not 10 numbers. There's self over there and how that works together. So there's those three things. That's all. And and before that it's one. But one turns into I want to have an experience, and you can't experience something just in a mirror because you have to have the mirror to see what's on the other side of it. So there's three things. And so going from there, then you go, okay, let's use gematria to let's chop this reality up a little bit more and make all of these angles or these angels or these letters. Let's make this. Let's use these things to chop up reality, and let's hinge them to these numbers. And so then in that way you can say, oh, all of reality is numbers. Well, yeah, numbers, because numbers are concept for people. You can't show me what is 5. You can't show me a 5. You could kind of say that's 5 things, but it doesn't work that way. What is 5? You don't know. You don't know what 2 is. You don't know what 3 is. It's the same thing with letters, but that's only because you don't know. What is an A? Well, an A actually means something. Just like in other languages, what you'll find is they use pictures. And in our language, English, we think when we use a word such as chair, we think of the thing that I'm sitting on here, and we think of the word. We don't think of it as the letter C, the letter H, the letter A, I, and R. We don't think of it that way. But underneath that, each one of those letters has an intrinsic value. It has an absolute value, not just to numbers, but to what it means. And so getting into etymology, what you'll find is prior to, what they don't tell you is each one of those letters has there's a reason it looks like it does. There's a little bit of the sun, a little bit of the moon in each one of those letters. There's a little bit of female, a little bit of male in each one of those letters. There's a reason there's big ones, and there's a reason there's little ones, because there's not just 26. Remember, there's 52. So it's just more ways of chopping it up and refining reality. Torin, that's awesome. I'll be doing some sigils in the sand soon. Sigils in the sand soon, yeah. It's glorious here. And it's close enough to so many other things. Like I can get to a couple major cities within an hour or so, and I can go back. I mean, New Orleans is close enough. I can go back there for parties and shit. But I'm just New Orleans. I was there for I don't know how many years, 5 years or whatever. It's a beautiful, wonderful. It's my home, but you need a break sometimes. It's just too much. There's too much spirit there. There's too many kinds of them, and I've ingested all of them. I've played with all of them. Now I need a little break. Just take a little breather and start creating some things, and then dropping those things somewhere else. What up, Leo Slayer? What up, Aldrin? Why are there lowercase and uppercase? The simple way of looking at it is, some of it you could get in capitis diminutus and maritime admiralty. But that's even secondary to why the letters. One's more masculine, one's strength, stronger. It's caps. Whoa, capital. Whoa, it's capital. That's what it is. There's a capital in the country. There's a capitis. These kind of things. But it's more before all of that. The letters were small and big because of semen and because of the chalice. That's then growing up. What does a small B look like versus a big B? What is I've done maybe like 3 videos, pretty full length ones on the alphabet. Check the ones out I did called Zen Gems. I did 5 videos in a row, and the one that I did I think it's called like ABC and 4 make 3 or something. It was something like a funny title like that, but it was I made 5 videos in a row of Zen Gems, check those out, and that'll give you a lot more inlet into why. And also tell the story about the house, how the house is built, why there's a basement, why there's the walls, which are the laws, why the electricity is in the walls. There's a big long story I tell there about that too. So I highly suggest those.
I forgot I was going to Jason.
Instance, I never let you know about these before. The Esoteric Alphabet by Alvin Boyd Kuhn, Kuhn. Alvin Boyd, Boyd, Alvin. I'm pretty sure it's Alvin Boyd Kuhn. I get his name wrong all the time, but it's called the Esoteric Alphabet. That should start you, and for whoever just asked too, that's a really good one to get a better understanding of the letters. And then I also direct people to the Alphabet versus the Goddess, which is a much different kind of book. It's more playful, and it's more of a story, and it's more creative writing. And that was by Leonard Cohen. I believe Leonard Cohen. I might be wrong about that. But it's called The Alphabet versus the Goddess. And he's written some really cool books. I haven't read them all, but I've looked at little pieces of it, and it's good stuff. And the synopsis of The Alphabet versus the Goddess is essentially the masculine formation of how we use letters to create versus what the real world is out here as the goddess. The goddess gave us letters. Like you think man thinks, oh, I made letters. Yeah, you kind of did, but how do you have hands? Because you're made of material. Therefore, you're made of mother. Therefore, you're made of matter, or the principle of the universal black mother, which is meaning earth. Just that's what it means. It's not, and it should be brown mother for that matter. It shouldn't be black. But yeah, the idea that man, gets a sword and gets a pen and starts dividing things up and making these letters and think they're creating something, but in reality they had to cut that thing down to create this. They think they created something. Like, no, you didn't. Like, you're remember homage to where it came from, which was the earth, and even your body is the earth. And then we go, oh, then people go too far, and this is where I have to halt the whole ship for people to go, let's not go too far, because we do have a thinking mind, which is the capacity to create these awesome things. Like, this is awesome that I can talk to you guys through this thing. It's because we're well away from being able to use telekinesis and everything. Well, not all of us. I mean, some of us can. But so these things do have a purpose, and these things are great. But let's not go too far with the feminization of saying, oh, it's all the divine mother. Yeah. But you. Without the masculine interjection, there is no life. It would just be rocks sitting there. It would just be your body sitting here like a dead nothing. But the fact that the process of thinking, the thought, the mind, the father imbuing the electrical universe into the magnetic mother universe, which is the magnetism collapses the energy to make matter. And electricity, see, one is implosive and one is explosive. So that implosive energy of collapsing things into magnetism to create what we call matter, that's the mother matter right there. And so in the same way, the father created the mother, because my thought created this matter. So at the highest form, even the mother doesn't really exist. We allow the mother to exist. And what's the we? The we is just the one mind. So what is the mind? It's a blank slate. It's androgynous, but it's not even androgynous. It doesn't even have a sex. It just is. And then we go, okay, it's got to be something. So it's androgynous. Okay, fine, it's male and female. Now what? Okay, I need empty space and I need solid. It goes together. What's up, Warmax? Warmax. Instead of being here on live stream, I do have a pretty easy living experience. I'm at the beach, homie. What are you doing? I mean, I say that in the kindest way. I mean, I don't know. I enjoy doing this. This is easy for me. It's also my service to people, You know, I've been given and granted a lot by myself, and I also like to share because I find you to be all, you know, and Lakesh, I'm another you. You're another myself. So why wouldn't I share it with you? This is cake for me. I eat the cake. I have my cake. I eat it, and then I cook some more and I share it with everybody. So, Tsar Garden, daily planners. I think that's a great idea for some people. If your mind works, if your mind is too big and you want to plot things out and you want to organize it, that goes again into that masculine concept. Go for it. Some people need planners. Some people want planners. But just always leave room for the universe to work for you. Because a planner is... This is why you use symbols and images instead of just writing words out, because those aren't going to work that well. Because the universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to feelings and images. So that's why we try to work with images in our mind and images on paper. Excuse me. And images out here. And we are the image, right? So we use our image. And then use this here. So here's my image, taking a pen, compressing the image to even something even smaller, so that I can compress that even more. I mean, we compress it here or here into our heart, into our lower regions, our nether regions, and in our heart and in our mind, and that's the compression chamber right there. But you can also compress it with the pen. So if you just remember though, you have to leave room for time, because you don't know how time works yet. I mean, you're probably closer than most because you're listening to me, but time is a curious thing. It's wavy, it's moldable, it's malleable. There's a lot of things going on with it. There's lots of energies you're working with, and so you just got to be open to time working for you. Data sync, yeah, much better, man. You know, Mercury was giving me some trouble for a minute there, but then I was like, oh wait, I am Mercury. What am I doing? So, you know, I had I don't know how many people that had, you know, how old relationships would crop back up and people would just call me that I haven't talked to in a long time, like, we weren't talking because we're not like that. So I had a lot of weird shit happen. But it's a new day. Whatever. It's water under the bridge, and it was life lessons and learnings, and here I am. Yeah, sipping on nectar. I think they do to a degree, for sure. I mean, listen to the talks that I've done on memory. Maybe, I can't think of a name of one off the top of my head. But I've done a lot on memory and where it's held. It's held in water. It's held in your body. Memory isn't held in your mind. Memory is held throughout your fat and your muscles and your water in your body. Basically the fat and the muscles. And those are holding, mostly the fat and the cancers are holding a lot of false memories. And so that's why fasting is a good idea, to get those out of you. Because those parasites and things that are living in you are literally making electrical pulses that go through your system, and then make your brain make neural connections to say this means this. So you have a false narrative of something, a false idea of, you know, I used this example the other day. Some people, like, they look at a dog and they're scared of a dog because when they were little they got sniffed at by a dog, and now they think all dogs are like that. So it's maybe not, you know, it's a replaying memory that goes, oh well, this dog is just like that other dog. But it's not true, right? So it's a matter of getting rid of those kind of parasitic forces. And, you know, some are in the food we eat, some are in the relationships we have, some are in the things we look at and listen to. But if we're able to, like, open up our you know, and be a tube rather than blocking things and just let it go through us, then it doesn't matter. We could eat anything. We could eat a rattlesnake. You know, you could eat whatever you wanted, because it wouldn't go into your... Remember, from your lips to your asshole is a tube that's outside of your body. It hasn't gone into you until it breaches into your system, going down here, and then it goes into your stomach, and then it goes into, and then it gets into your system. But sometimes you could think of it. You ate a marble, It doesn't go into your body. It goes it goes from here to your ass. Eat a penny. Think about that. It doesn't go into you. It's just passing through. And so when we start to learn to allow ideas and things to just pass through, then all of a sudden you go, those things won't come again. Then you go, oh wait, I produced that, and let that allow that through, and now produce something different. And from there you do work magic. Of course, Warmax. Yeah, emit time. There you go. Oops. Gotta get that inked up again. Yeah, Warmax, to will, visualizations, and feelings. I think will is the generative force, the generative principle. It's like, that's my will to do it, and then I have to have a feeling about it. So, as Neville Goddard says, you put your mind into a place of being there, and then you feel yourself into that. The initial willing is that's what it is. Like, everything we do is to our will. We will it to come to be, and so that will becomes the jump off point to the vibration, to the energy, to the feeling, to the imagination of it. You know what I like? I know what I like. Tonight I'm going to go out and find myself a beautiful woman, and so I put myself in that place and see what happens tonight. Right? Oh, maybe it wasn't tonight. Maybe it's supposed to be tomorrow. Who knows? But that's the will starts that. You know, the wheel. The will is the wheel. And the magic is in the bolts that hold on the wheel, which are hex nuts. This is why witches use magic hexes. It's the hexagram nuts that hold the wheel on. And then to get the tire to the road, the tire, T-I-R-E, is your right, R-I-T-E. It's your right. Of course it is. It's your wheel, it's your hex, and it's your right. So that's what moves the vehicle. The vehicle is called a car. Your car is C-A-R, which is an arc, A-R-C, which is an arc of light to whatever you want. So, use the analogy of the car. You see the idea of the importance of the will, which is the wheel. So, whatever your will says. So balance your wheels. Aldrin Castro. Can I release videos about alcohol? I think I have plenty of them on alcohol. I think most of them, half the videos I made, I've had a little nectar in me. But I've made some specifically on alcohol. I'll look through all of my videos. Maybe some of them I don't have up right now, but I'll look through them and I'll release some more for you. But I'm pretty sure there's a few up there already. So, data sync. Oh, so these things are going to get recorded on here now, I think. So I don't have to like actually repeat what you all said. I'm pretty sure this will show up later. That's cool. You said, but I'll say it anyways. You said, if we speak to our space to upgrade a program and reinforce it each day, we can reprogram ourselves. And maybe ask for dream out self, and maybe ask the... Yeah. That's the whole purpose of everything. It's always reprogramming and upgrading the system. Can fasting release pupae? What is P-U-P-A-E, man? From the fat in the brain? I don't know what that means. But fasting is one of the best fasts for the brain, according to Ayurveda, is to sleep deprivation. So meaning like stay up for a night. Now that will do a lot of things. It will help you to dream, because then when you go to dream, you'll be in a nice place of lucidity. You'll be on the precipice of is this the dream or is this the dream? You know, that place. And not sleeping helps with that. And also, it by not sleeping, it increases the temperature in your brain, which will burn things off in your brain that you don't need. So Ayurveda speaks to that. I can't verify that, obviously. I don't know, but yeah, not sleeping for a night is a great idea. They do a lot of good things for you. Sleep fast are good. You've gone to, so I've gone to plenty of not sweat lodges, but I've been in a hot bath, hot steam room now and then, and yeah, all of these things kind of do the same thing. Fasting, sweat lodges, it's just getting rid of toxin, and it will adjust your brain. Like that too is going to heat your brain up, just like I was talking about. Funny enough, you just said that. I think it will have the same similar effect. It's a purging of things you don't need. That's why this is proof to why, like the salt thing. Your sweat is salty because your body's trying to get rid of it. You see, because your sweat shouldn't be salty because you shouldn't have salt in your system. Your sweat should be sweet, not salty. Just like your piss should be sweet, not salty. Just like your semen should be sweet, not salty. See, so if we get rid of all the salty attitude, it's the salty attitude people have is developed. I have a video called menstrual cycles and salty moods. Talk about the women's menstrual cycle and what salt has to do with it. But the salt in our system is really what is causing the electrical system not to be functioning right, because it's causing a lot of short circuits all over our body, especially in the mind too. So getting these things out of the body is the way to go. You're made of, it said you're made of water. You're not made of salt. You're made of water and light. You're a memory cell. Memory, water, light, memory. So you yourself are a memory, and it's more salt you put in there. Water wants to get out. It wants to pull, when you start sweating, it wants to pull that out of your skin because it shouldn't be in you. So that's going to be just happening at a faster rate. So what you'll find is afterwards you'll have everything will be brighter. What up? Only one for Ree. Speaking of shit, data sync. You made me have to go take a poop. I'm drinking this coffee. I don't drink coffee, and I definitely got a shit. So you guys might have to excuse me in a minute here, so I can go drop a deuce. Hey, Eli Jen, as long as you got the piss and the right attitude, man. Yeah, looping tends to be salty if you're putting anything else in your system. Whenever I do start drinking, like go heavy at it, I don't eat. I mean, it's not even part of my process of my mind or my body to think I want or need food. The only time I'll eat is if I really, like, if I can't sleep, because I'm too energetically, like, and I can't sleep. And if I ain't got shit to do, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the dream world and I'll take a little food in. And the best kind of food to take in here, I'll just a little clue in here is taking two types of fiber, any kind of fiber, soluble and insoluble. You don't have to go the route of getting the stuff that doesn't taste good. Just nuts that are roasted are going to be insoluble fiber. So that's a good idea. That's going to help clean out the system, and some soluble fiber that will start extracting things, and so that when you take a shit, it will be cleaning your system out, and you can go to bed. And when you sleep, there is that when you look at the Taoist clock and what organs are servicing your body at certain times, you can figure out a window of the best time to sleep. So if you want to really get your liver working, I think it's like 3 o'clock in the morning is liver time, and then gallbladder is like 4, and 1 o'clock is kidneys. There's a clock. You can check it out. It's online somewhere. Howell Wittek, you're welcome, man. Of course, it's not my knowledge. It's free. I just happen to know some shit other people don't know. So here it is. It's free. Eli Jen 144. Oh yeah, Paul Al Wittek 144. I've been tripping on the 144 lately. That's been funny. Oh, Journey Enlightenment, thank you. Yeah, that's it's been a long while. I was just tired of the parasitic ones, because it was, you know, when you're in a town, when you're in a city like New Orleans, that's what's happening. That's what it is. It's just you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I love the city, and I don't not take part, you know, but just after a while, it's like, I gotta change some things up for a little while. See, that's the thing of preferences. There's no judgment, you know. It's like, I'll be back to that city and party this and that, eat this, you know, whatever. That's life. That's how we work. That's how it goes. But sometimes it's meditation time. Sometimes it's relaxing time. Sometimes it's let's generate energy inside of us so we can project images into the future and walk into them. And so that's what it is for me now. Because before I was in New Orleans, I had a time like that, which was literally in Illinois. I was basically in a cabin, manifesting living in New Orleans. I wanted to chill out and be at a cabin. That was cool. Lots of fresh air, fires, stars, animals, ground out, cool. Manifest New Orleans. Manifest this. See, it's always that. We're just learning to get better with understanding what time is, and understanding time. Not understanding time anymore, but understanding time, so that way we can produce it, we can emit it. So, and that's the difference between, time is the difference between how strong someone's magic is. How quickly can you make that happen? That's magic. If it takes a year, takes a month, takes a day, takes instantaneously. See, I've talked about using magic, you know, people that have a deal of telekinesis, or a deal of using like maybe moving something with their hand, moving an object with their hand, or with their mind. See, they're adjusting space and physical object, where I've always played with time. It's the same thing, but it's inverted. Time is the inversion of space and matter. So I work with time, where other people can go, oh, I can move that object. Well, I can't. I'm not really throwing that much out of my hand, but I can adjust some things to make this move farther. It just take a little longer. You know what I mean? So it's play with both of them, and that's what we, you know, as we get better at moving things physically here, and then with our mind, and then changing time. That's what the whole thing is about. Oh man, Warmax, do not put the salt in your system, my friend. People have been on this. I've look into all of my work on salt. There's anybody on here will tell you I've unloaded like like I don't know, dozens of videos on salt. I gotta let people know salt is not the thing. And Andrew Norton Weber, his is an easy resource. Go to Aquarius the Water Bearer, and then you go to Salt Crime Files. You go to all of his work on salt. It's not for you. That's the trick. The mirror, the cube of Saturn is salt. That's what keeps us encased and entrapped in time to a degree, is the salt. It's a salt covenant. Salt is taking Sat and putting an L in there, putting an angle to divide up Sat. See, so you get salt or salt. So you put a T, you can look at it either way. You're either putting an L inside of Sat to divide up time, or you're taking your soul and crossing it with a T. Soul T, so you'd be crossing your soul. So once you get rid of the salt, which is a cube, which is folds out into six, you know, the cross. Once you get the salt out of your system, you become a zero. And then from there you create. Oh, once you're inside the egg, the cosmic egg, whatever you want, however you want to make the egg, is it look like that? I don't know. Or zero. Man, I think the egg is probably closer to it, as it has this brilliant way of producing electricity within an egg, and the fact that nature chooses to produce eggs that are shaped the way they are. Nature does not often create circles. And this is one more proof why we don't live in a ball spinning through space, because nature doesn't produce balls. There's no balls. There's eggs. The shape of things are eggs, and eggs follow the same geometries as the golden spiral. See, there's power in the golden spiral. It spirals into the and see even that right there, even that symbol, that's the thing. That's why they do that. You think it's because they're throwing up gang signs and they're like 666 and they're devil worship or Satan worship. No, they're not. That's not how it works. People have been confused. You got too many people out here like these Christians like thinking something's going on that it ain't. Because they're the ones with the cross to bear. Even though we're all on our own cross, right? This is, as Neville Goddard tells you, we came to this earth on a cross. It's our body. We're buried in our body. So there's no more burying to happen. It's already been done. You're already in the body. So stop trying to say everything is satanic. This is what people do. No, we're just consuming the things that are giving us the mirror conspiracy. It's cubing up our vision. We put salt in our body, and it starts to adjust the way, like putting salt in your eye, putting salt on a wound. None of this is any good because it's causing refraction of light. So you're not seeing the actual thing. Light isn't salty. Neither is water. Memory is not salty. Salt has nothing to do with this, except for there was a covenant a long time ago that had to do with the kings and the queens, and they started paying people's salary in salt. So people started eating the salt. Go watch I did a couple really long 2-hour videos, maybe a year and some change ago, that I really dig in very deep on the salt, the scepters, the salt covenants, the kings, the queens, why we started getting paid in salt, and the kinship and the forgetfulness. Salt creates forgetfulness. Think about it. Memory, water, and light. And the only way you can get in the way of water and light is to put salt in there. Salty ass matrix. And that even gets into like why the ocean is salty. So there's a lot, and what buoyancy is. There's a whole video I'm gonna do on that, and that's gonna be a fun one. I was just meditating on that the other day, so you guys will see that soon. Yeah, you should, man. Juice fast is the way to go. Detox with just water. Distilled water is the only way to go. Data sync. Can you ask me about the light in the head when you see light in that? I do sometimes. It's not. It's irregular for me because my experience here is irregular. You know, it's different than other people. I don't have like a, because I just accept it. I accept whatever I'm doing. Like if somebody offers me some food, I will dine with them. You know. But then there's other times like, no, what I'm doing is I'm fasting now. So my experience is different. So sometimes I do and sometimes I do not. But check it out, yo. I really got to go take a dump. So speaking of salty and shitty, this coffee got me. So I'm gonna come back in a little while, y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. But I will finish up here. Eli. Yeah, coffee up the butt. Yeah, salt is the white man's poison. That's for damn sure. Sipping on nectar. Yeah, I've heard of bamboo salt. I don't think so. I think salt is inorganic versus organic. Look up those two words. In the scientific methodology of the differentiation between what organic and inorganic is in the chemical books is the bonding of a carbon. So it's unusable if it doesn't have a carbon bond, meaning we can get salts from food or minerals from food that is already turned into a livable, usable life force sustaining system, where salt is not. Salt is in the ground, so it can energetically charge the plants. It's not eating the salt, it's charging. See? This is how it works. This is why when you go in the ocean, it's charging you. You're not ingesting it. Same thing. Shaman Clown, what's up? Y'all have to come back. Since I'm fasting, hey, Warm Max, I really got to take a shit, my friend. So I'll come back and I'll talk to you all about that, and I'll tell you why all that happens. What up, Danny Delane? I'll be back on in a second, y'all. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo Slayer, for allowing me to go use the bathroom. Talk to y'all in a second. Peace.